Friends, good morning. It's Hazel from the Israelite Women's Homestead, and it's a beautiful rainy day outside, but we're nice and toasty here by my wood stove. And this video today is about the wood stove. That's why I'm right here. So, we're going to talk about how we can save money and energy using our wood stove on the homestead. And I have quite a couple of things that I would like to show you and tell you about concerning my wood stove and how we use that. Now, our wood stove is used to heat our whole house. Now we have regular central heating, but we don't use it at all. It's very minute. We use it because we really don't need it because the wood stove does the heating for us. Plus we have tons of wood, so why would we pay for something if we can use something else that is free? So that's what we do. So let's talk about how you can save on energy and how you can just use your wood stove to heat for freely. Okay, so number one, we use our wood stove to dry things. Okay, as you can see, I have my daughter's glove drying here. And I also have, it's not here right now, but I keep a drying rack right in front of my wood stove here, and it dries my clothes. So I do one load of clothes, I put it here at night, and in the morning it's all dry and crisp and ready to be folded up. So that's a way we use our wood stove to dry things in the winter time because it's so efficient and it's so warm in here. Why not? In the kitchen with the wood stove in here, it's like 24 25 degrees. It goes up to 26, go up to 30 degrees in the kitchen here. It's very hot in here, so it dries your clothes like in no time. So that's the first way we use our wood stove. The second way we use our wood stoves obviously is to dry our gloves and hats. We just hang it. We have a little hook up on the window up there, and we hang things there, and it dries. When we come from outside and we're all wet, that's what we do. So yeah, we use it for drying. Point number three, how we use our wood stove. We use our wood stove to cook. So here, right now actually, I'm making some delicious porridge. I'm making oatmeal. I'm making oatmeal porridge on my wood stove. And yeah, so this is what I'm doing. So another way I use my wood stove is to make bread. I make all kind of bread on my wood stove. I make flat bread, I make regular bread, and I'll show you how. And actually, it's lunchtime now, and I am making some flat bread for lunch. We're gonna have a sandwich, and this is what I'm using my wood stove to do. Now I have my regular stove over there, but I don't really need it because look, it's my wood stove is going, it's hot, and it's free. It's a free source of energy. So why would I be cooking on my stove when I can use here? So let me move so you can see what I'm doing. So right here I have my flatbread. Right here I have my flatbread. And this is gonna be our, here I'm just making a sandwich with it. I made this from scratch using just a little bit of butter, some whole wheat flour, and that's gonna be our a wrap for our lunch. And it's there on the wood stove. I'm using my tawa, and as you can see, the fire is really hot, and it's just amazing, right? And this is what I do. So I'm just turning over my bread here. So when I'm making bread on the wood stove, I use a cast iron pot with a cover. And I usually make these like kind of dome shaped bread. So I'll get my cast iron pot and I'll show you. So I use this cast iron pot to make my bread. Oh my goodness, it's so heavy. It's hurting my hand just lifting it up. But I use this cast iron pot to make my my bread, and I just put my bread in there and I cover it, and I just put it on the stove, and it makes a wonderful, I call it the poofy bread. It makes a wonderful poofy bread. All you have to do is butter your cast iron pot really well, and well, it doesn't usually stick, but just for my own I don't know, peace of mind, I do that, and I grease it, and then I just turn it over, and my bread comes out really well. So I use this pot. But if you don't have this cast iron pot, I think they're called Dutch oven but this one is like the older version of the Dutch oven, because I'm telling you, this is super super heavy. Okay, let me try to get it off with one hand. Oh my gosh, it's so heavy. Okay, so if you don't have this Dutch oven that I'm talking about, you don't have one because they're pretty pricey. But this one is really old. This is like over 100 years old. It has a story, but anyways, I'm not going to go into the story off of it. This has been used by many, many, many family members. So anyways, so this has a story to it, but I'm not gonna go to. I'm not gonna tell the story here today. But anyways, so if you don't have one of those cast iron pots, you can use your frying pan. So this is a regular, oh, not a heavy, oh my lord, it's so heavy. But it's another heavy cast iron pan. And again, these ones you can find them at Walmart. I saw them at Walmart, or you can buy them at Canadian Tire. I think they're 50 or 60 bucks for one. But again, I usually buy my stuff in at the thrift store, so you can go around and look for them at the thrift store. But they're pretty common, so you can find them. But this one is an extra large one. It's big. So I usually make I also make bread in here, but I make like rolls. So I just, again, I grease my pan with butter and I make my rolls and I just put them around it, and then I just cover it. I put a cover over it and that's it. I have a big cover for it and a cast iron cover too. So I just put it on and then I cover it with this cover. So it has a cover like this, and you just cover it like this, and then the bread just bake there. You just leave it like that and it bake. And the only thing about using your wood stove is like right now, like the temperature. I open the wood stove doors so that the temperature would go down, because usually the temperature goes up to like, so my temperature gauge is here. It goes up to like 400 there. So it gets really really hot, and when it gets so hot it's kind of overbearing in here. It's really really hot in the kitchen, and the whole downstairs get really hot and upstairs gets just really really toasty hot. So I tend not to do that. Once it goes up to like 200 degrees, I just open the door, and then the heat tend to disperse more easily. Then I open my back porch, which is my office, and then the heat goes in there. So, but if I leave the wood stove closed, it just become a sauna in our house. So this is what I do. So you have to put less wood in the wood stove so that you wouldn't be burning your stuff that's on it. So that's just a trick for when you're using the wood stove. So yeah, so that's what I use the wood stove for. And the last thing that we use the wood stove for, it's for, what is the last thing we use the wood stove for? So yeah, the last thing I use the wood stove for is for my seedlings. So once January, the like the third week in January comes, this area here where the wood stove is becomes my seedlings area. So I bring in my two small greenhouses and they go right next. I have my chair here, if you can see it. So I have my chair. So I remove my chair in that corner over there, and this becomes my station to keep all my seeds. Because it's so warm in here, I get a really really good germination rate for my seedlings, and that's where they go. So once January comes, seedling corner comes here. So I have 10 stands and I put all my seeds and they germinate, and the plants really really do well in that section here with my wood stove. So my wood stove is really really doing an awesome job when it comes to my seedlings and for my gardening. And then sometimes the last thing I like to do is with my wood stove is I like to sit here and soak my feet with the heat. I like to do that. It's just very comforting. And some other things you can use the wood stove for, obviously, is to sit by the wood stove and just read a book, or just, I don't know, watch a movie, or just do work on your computer. Sometimes I leave my office and I just come put my chair right here and I just sit right by the fire and I just do some work, answer some emails, answer some customers' queries and stuff like that, because I like listening to the sound of the wood, especially if the wood is not if it's wet or something. It makes a crackling sound, and it's just the ambience of the fire and the noise. That kind of crackling noise is very soothing to the nerve. So I like to do that a lot. So I do that in like in the evening when the kids are gone to bed. I tend to come and sit here and do work by the fire, and I also use it to soak my feet. You know, when my feet are tired in the afternoon, I just sit here on a chair, put my soaking basin down, and that's what I do. So the wood stove is a very awesome, and you can save energy for it. But another thing I use my wood stove for that I forgot to tell you all was to get rid of my recycling, which is paper. So I use my wood stove to do that. So instead of me putting paper in the recycling to go into the landfill, I use my wood stove to get rid of the paper. And sometimes I have so much paper that I just put like one or two log in the fire, and I just have so much paper, and I just burn paper. And like 2 days ago, I was burning like so much paper, and like I had just one log in there because I had so much paper, and that's what I've been doing. And the ashes, I use it in my compost. I also use the ashes to put on to melt snow, like in the driveway, because you have a long driveway. I use the ashes to melt the snow in the winter time. So the wood stove does a really good job with that. And also you helping to get rid of waste. Instead of sending the paper to the landfill, you use it here, and it's serving a really good purpose. So that's another way that I use my wood stove. I just burn everything here except plastic. All the paper goes in there, letters, mail, anything that I don't want, I just goes into the wood stove, and it provides heat for me. So if you have a wood stove, I hope some of these tips are very helpful to you, and I hope you use one or two of them. Oh, you can use all if you want. These are great tips, and this is the way I use my wood stove. And I'm so happy that I have that wood stove, and all the wood that we burn into the wood stove is just free wood. We don't buy wood, we just go around and get wood. Neighbors and friends and forest areas that we are allowed to take wood from. And I mean, guys, learn to recycle things, learn to get things for free, and just use the resources that you have in a really good way. And let us try to save the environment and stuff like that. Because instead of sending your paper to the recycling, you can just burn it if you have a wood stove. That's a great way of using it because it does double duty heating, and you can use it in your garden for your snow, whatever you want to use the ashes for. You know, my pot is getting hot. I forgot the pot was on the fire. Now I gotta remove the pot because I put the pot up there to show you guys my pot. Now the pot is hot. Oh, I forgot one thing. I use the wood stove to heat water. Yeah. Oh, I gotta get a pot up. Okay. Ah, pot is heavy. So I keep a pot of water. Yep. I keep a pot of water on the wood stove. The purpose for the water is to wash dishes. Now I have running hot water, guys. I have running hot water. But again, the wood stove is there and it's just this free heat, right? So instead of me using hot water to wash dishes, I just keep a pot here. Oh, it's so hot by the wood stove. Oh my goodness. So hot here. So I just keep that pot there during the day, and I heat water, and when I want to wash dishes, I just pour the hot water inside my container, and I rinse and I wash dishes there. But I don't have to do that. But this is a way of not using the hot water because the hot water comes from our tank, and the tank is using oil. So if I don't have to use hot water, why use it? So that's what I do. And sometimes I even heat water And if I want to take like a bubble bath or something like that, I have a huge pot, and I heat water and I could take a bubble bath using that water. But if I'm in the mood, I do that. If I'm not, I just use the regular hot water. But you can do that if you want to. I've done that before when we had lost power. So yeah. And another thing that we use the wood stove for is also to add steam into the house. Not add steam into the house, to add moisture into the house. So this pot of water there, I open the lid a little bit. Once it starts to boil, see the steam is coming out. Once it starts to boil a bit, I open the lid so that the steam can go into the air, because the only disadvantage of having a wood stove is it can make it makes the house very dry, especially the kitchen. So if you have a pot there with water and it sends out steam in the air, it keeps the air moist a bit. So that's very good. So we also use the wood stove to keep the air in the house moist, and to take away the dryness. So yeah, that's what we use our wood stove for. So it has a lot of uses. And guys, it's hot where I'm sitting here, so I'm gonna get up because that's the video. That's what I use my wood stove for. I'm gonna take my daughter's gloves off from there. Stick the gloves off. They're all dried and crispy. Yep, all dry. Let me get my son. Whoops. Well, gloves fell down. Let's get the gloves. So these gloves are dried and they can be stored away into the cupboard. Bye guys, thanks for watching my video. I will see you in the next video. And I hope you use your wood stove for some of the things that I mentioned to you in the video.